We have discussed the never assume principle and escaping cultural traps. Today we address what may be the highest leverage skill in innovation, the ability to reframe problems. Here's a truth that most innovators learn too late. Solving the wrong problem perfectly is still failure. You can build the most elegant AI system, deploy flawless code, achieve impressive technical metrics, and still fail completely if you solve the wrong problem. The problem you choose to solve determines everything that follows. This is why reframing, the deliberate practice of questioning and reformulating problem definitions, is so critical. A well-framed problem often suggests its own solution. A poorly framed problem leads you down paths that waste months or years. Let me illustrate with a famous example. In the early days of the automobile industry, customers told Henry Ford what they wanted: a faster horse. If Ford had accepted that problem framing, he would have bred horses, developed better horse feed, or designed more aerodynamic carriages. He would have optimized within the existing paradigm. Instead, Ford reframed. The customer did not actually want a faster horse. The customer wanted faster transportation. That reframing opened the door to an entirely different solution: the automobile. Notice what happened. The presented problem, faster horse, contained an embedded assumption that horses were the solution. Reframing stripped away that assumption to reveal the underlying need: faster transportation. This is the core skill: separating the presented problem from the underlying need. People express problems in terms of solutions they can imagine. Your job is to discover the need behind the request. In the AI era, this skill becomes even more critical. AI is extraordinarily good at solving well-defined problems. Give AI a clear problem statement and it will generate solutions rapidly. But AI cannot tell you whether you are solving the right problem. That judgment, is this the right problem, remains fundamentally human. It requires empathy, context, and the wisdom to question what everyone else accepts. Reframing is where human intelligence and artificial intelligence must work together. Let me share a reframing story from my own work. When I began working on mobile learning for underserved communities, the presented problem seemed clear. These children lack access to education. They need schools, teachers, and textbooks. That framing led to obvious solutions: build schools, train teachers, distribute textbooks. These are important, but they are expensive, slow, and dependent on infrastructure that may not exist. I reframed: what do these children actually need? Not schools as buildings, not teachers as employees. They need literacy exposure. They need someone or something to plant seeds of learning. They need access to knowledge. That reframing opened different solutions: mobile devices with educational content, peer-to-peer learning where children teach each other, community storytelling that builds literacy without formal instruction, the 1001 Stories Project where children become authors of books for other children. None of these solutions would have been visible if I had accepted the original framing. The reframe, from build schools to provide literacy exposure, changed everything. Now let me give you practical techniques for reframing. Technique 1, the problem behind the problem. Take any presented problem and ask, what is the problem behind this problem? What deeper issue would remain even if this surface problem were solved? For example, we need better customer service chatbots. Problem behind the problem, customers are contacting support too often. Problem behind that, the product is confusing. Problem behind that, the design does not match how customers think. Each level deeper reveals a different problem to solve. Better chatbots treat the symptom. Better design addresses the cause. You must decide which level to address, but first you must see all the levels. Technique 2, how might we questions. This is a classic design thinking tool. Take any problem statement and convert it into a how might we question. The format opens possibilities rather than constraining them. Customers complain about long wait times becomes, how might we reduce the feeling of waiting? Or how might we eliminate the need to wait? Or how might we make waiting valuable? Notice that each "how might we" question leads to different solutions. Reduce the feeling of waiting, maybe progress indicators or entertainment. Eliminate waiting, maybe predictive service. Make waiting valuable, maybe educational content during hold time. The power of "how might we" is that it assumes solutions exist. It is optimistic, while remaining open about what those solutions might be. It invites creativity rather than shutting it down. Technique 3, invert the problem. Instead of asking how to solve a problem, ask how to make it worse. Then invert those answers. How would we make customer service worse? Hide contact information, use confusing menus, never follow up, make customers repeat their story. Now invert. Make contact obvious, simplify navigation, proactive follow-up, remember customer history. Inversion often reveals solutions that direct problem-solving misses. We are surprisingly good at identifying what makes things worse, and the opposite of worse is often better than slightly improved. Technique 4, change the beneficiary. Most problems are framed around an obvious beneficiary. Reframe by asking, who else is affected? What would solving their problem look like? Students need better learning tools focuses on students. Reframe, teachers need better ways to identify struggling students, or parents need visibility into learning progress, or administrators need evidence of program effectiveness. Each beneficiary reveals different problems to solve and different people willing to pay for solutions. Sometimes the path to helping students runs through helping teachers or convincing administrators. Technique 5, change the time frame. Problems look different at different time scales. A problem that seems urgent today may be irrelevant in 5 years. A problem that seems minor today may be catastrophic if ignored. How do we compete with existing solutions is a short-term framing. How do we position for where the market will be in 5 years is a strategic reframe. What problem will our customers have tomorrow that they do not have today is a visionary reframe. Technique 6, remove constraints. Most problem framings contain hidden constraints. How do we reduce training costs? Assumes training is necessary. How do we speed up hiring? Assumes current hiring processes. Ask, what if this constraint did not exist? What if training were unnecessary because the product were intuitive? What if hiring were unnecessary because AI could do the work? Removing constraints, even temporarily, reveals radical alternatives. Let me give you a framework for when to reframe. Reframing is not always appropriate. Sometimes the presented problem is correct, but certain signals suggest reframing is needed. Signal 1. The problem has been solved before but keeps returning. If previous solutions did not stick, the problem may be misframed. The real issue lies elsewhere. Signal 2. Solutions seem obvious, but no one implements them. If the solution is clear but nothing happens, there may be hidden barriers, incentive misalignments, political issues, or unstated constraints. The stated problem is not the real problem. Signal 3. Stakeholders disagree about the problem. When different people describe the problem differently, no single framing captures reality. Multiple framings may be needed, or a higher level framing that encompasses all perspectives. Signal 4. The problem statement contains a solution. We need a better chatbot is not a problem. It is a solution. The problem might be customer confusion, support overload, or slow response times. When solutions are embedded in problem statements, reframing is essential. Signal 5. You feel stuck. When ideation produces only incremental variations on existing solutions, the problem framing may be too narrow. A reframe can unlock entirely new solution spaces. Now let me connect reframing to the AG era and AI opportunities. Many AI opportunities are framed as use AI to do X faster or cheaper. This is the automation framing, and it is often the least innovative application of AI. Reframe what becomes possible with AI that was impossible before. This opens transformative applications, not just faster horses, but automobiles. Here are examples of AI reframing in different industries. Healthcare. Original. Use AI to help doctors diagnose faster. Reframed. How might we catch diseases before symptoms appear? The reframe shifts from assisting diagnosis to preventing the need for diagnosis. Education. Original. Use AI to grade assignments faster. Reframed. How might we provide feedback so immediate and personalized that grading becomes continuous rather than episodic? The reframe transforms assessment from judgment to guidance. Agriculture. Original. Use AI to predict crop yields. Reframed. How might we give every farmer access to the knowledge of the world's best agronomists? The reframe shifts from prediction to empowerment. Finance. Original. Use AI to detect fraud faster. Reframed. How might we design systems where fraud is structurally impossible? The reframe moves from detection to prevention. For Kazakhstan entrepreneurs, reframing is particularly powerful. You are not bound by legacy systems or established ways of doing things. You can frame problems fresh. What problems in Kazakhstan would look different with radical reframing? What services exist because of old constraints that AI dissolves? What would you build if you started from needs rather than existing solutions? A warning about reframing. It is possible to reframe too much. At some point, you must commit to a problem definition and pursue solutions. Endless reframing becomes procrastination. The goal is not to find the perfect framing. That does not exist. The goal is to explore multiple framings, choose the most promising one, and remain willing to reframe again if evidence suggests you chose wrong. Here is your challenge after this session. 1. Take a problem you are working on and write it down as a clear problem statement. 2. Generate at least 5 alternative framings using the techniques we discussed. Problem behind the problem, how might we, inversion, change the beneficiary, change the time frame, remove constraints. 3. For each reframing, write one solution that would only be visible from that framing. 4. Choose the framing that opens the most promising solution space. For Smile participation, this module, post your original problem statement and 3 of your best reframings. Comment on 3 peers' reframings, suggesting additional alternatives they might have missed. Evaluate 3 peer submissions based on how effectively the reframings reveal new solution possibilities. This collective reframing exercise will sharpen everyone's ability to see problems differently. Resources. Are You Solving the Right Problem? By Dwayne Spradlin in Harvard Business Review is an excellent introduction to problem reframing in business contexts. The Art of Problem Framing from the Stanford D School provides practical exercises. And my colleague Tina Selig's book, Ingenious, explores creativity techniques, including reframing. Let me close with this. Every great innovation starts with seeing a problem differently than everyone else sees it. The automobile was a reframing of transportation. The smartphone was a reframing of communication. AI itself is a reframing of what machines can do. Your ability to reframe, to question the presented problem, to reveal hidden assumptions, to see needs that others miss is your competitive advantage. AI can solve problems. Only humans can decide which problems are worth solving. If we can imagine, we can make it happen. But first, we must learn to ask, is this the right problem to solve?